I don't know, sometimes I don't think before I speak as much. And I say things that I think back on and I'm like, totally hypocritical.
Maybe like when I get upset that people lie. And like, not saying that I lie a lot, but like on a small scale sometimes.
I feel like even coming here, I always like shit on people that were like, I don't know, like thought they were like higher of everyone else and like went to schools, like nice schools and like stuff like that. But then like here I am, like at a nice school, you know, like all that. And you have to like find, like here, I feel like you have to find like your little like, your sector where you fit in, where you're not in that little like overarching like I'm better than everyone, where I get from like some kids here and like places like that. So I don't know if that makes me a hypocrite, but I feel like just coming here, like knowing somewhat of the environment, like, and still like going along with it, I feel like kind of makes me a hypocrite. But I feel like I also try to combat that by like having my own, you know, having my own thoughts, like not giving in to like everyone else, like what they're saying, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. That's probably my answer.
I don't know, I kind of like judge people for like doing shit that, like I see myself doing a lot. It's mostly just like, you know, like small habits, you know, like I don't know, like just like not like holding like a door open or something, like shit like that.
I just said that, but I'm probably gonna like go take a 5-hour nap right now, so I guess that makes me a hypocrite.
I don't know. Sometimes I say like I hate people that, like, you know, cut you off when you're speaking, and then I feel like I do it sometimes. I like to speak a little bit.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I never take the advice I give my own friends.
That's a good one.
I never take the advice I give my own friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's a good one. I guess like constantly changing my mind, like saying one thing and doing another. I guess that's the definition of being a hypocrite.
Sure, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, you can go. I have an answer.
Okay, you can go.
That the advice I give to my friends, I don't always follow for myself.
Yeah, I would say what I find irritating about some people, I find like is things that I find irritating about myself as well.
I hold myself to a higher standard than I hold others. So I guess, I mean, I'm kind of an elitist in a way. I'm always self-deprecating. Oh well.
When I tell people to drive safe.
Well, I mean, I could say the same thing for myself as well. When I give people the advice that I can't take myself. So I'm good at giving advices, but when it comes to me, I can never, you know, so yeah. Just
He gives the best relationship advice, but he's single. so it's like, you know how they say coaches don't play? This is the prime example of that.
In many ways, in many ways. Self-reflection is a very big thing for me, so I kind of point out my own contradictions in life a lot. I tend to analyze a lot of people and think about their contradictions as well, but it's human nature, right? So.
I would say I give advice and never take my own advice. So that's me being a hypocrite. That was the question, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Probably a lot, especially with COVID and with all the masks and all of the precautions that we have to take. You know, those types of things. I don't know. There could be endless answers to that question. But yes, I am a hypocrite in many, many ways.
That's a very hard question.
I'm just listening.
Like, I guess people can be judgmental. Like, everyone can be judgmental for like other people, but you can't really uphold these standards yourself. So that way you can make you a hypocrite. But like, I can't think of any specific examples right now.
Oh, seriously?
These are very introspective.
Yeah. I try not to ask more of others than I ask of myself, but I have very low standards for myself, so it doesn't go very far. Let's just leave it at that.
I don't think I've ever been asked this question, so I don't really have a good answer right now.
I think the more you grow as a person, you realize that the thoughts that you had younger are probably not aligned with what you're feeling now. So I'm sure a lot of my life was like that. I just know I'm a completely different person from like, even like 7 years ago. Like I see you change like every 7 years, so I don't know. Maybe more selfish than I should be.
Oh golly, I have to think about that. Telling myself that the first thing I should do in the morning is get up and work out, but I don't do it. I give good advice to myself, and not necessarily to anyone else.
Oh man. I think we all hypocrites. A specific way. I mean, there was a time where, I judged other people, and I didn't like being judged, for whatever race or sexual orientation or whatever. That's something I've been working on, and I'm not sure if I'm still that way. I know I'm less that way than I was before.
I feel like, I don't know, as time goes too fast, I guess, too, because it's like almost every day that I'm like going back on a statement of mine, because it's just like, oh, well, now I think this, now I think that. I don't know. Like, I stand very firm on a lot of things, but there's also a lot of things that, like, day-to-day basis, they flip, so I would say I'm a hypocrite in a lot of ways, a lot of unspecific ways.
Sometimes I feel like I can do things but other people can't, because it can just be different when I do it. I don't know.
Probably trying too hard to please people, trying to go with the crowd. A simple example would be like, if everybody wants to go eat Mexican, but I just had Mexican the other night, and I'll go ahead and go along with it because that's what everybody else wants to do. But really, I'm kind of sulking inside because I would rather go eat a hamburger. Probably trying to please too many people at once and then not being true to myself.
I think I'm a hypocrite in that I get upset with people doing the same things I do myself. Pass, we'll come back to that. These are hard. These are like deep thinking questions. I don't know.
I pretty much speak my mind as far as my political beliefs, and we probably shouldn't go there here.
I've moved around a lot. I've moved 22 times in my lifetime. I'm only 20, and so I like to give people advice on like how to meet new people and how to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, just because I feel like I've had experience doing that. But there's been some times where I won't want to go to something just because I have to see new people or interact with new people, and so I'm constantly preaching to people, you need to go out and meet people and have a great experience, but then half the time I'm I don't really know if I want to go and kind of put myself out there. So I feel like that's a prime example of how I might be a hypocrite. That's what happens. You get to a place and you get comfortable with people and you're I don't know if I want to keep experiencing things, but then it's you realize there's great people and great experiences everywhere, so you just kind of want to keep going around and seeing all of that. Yeah, absolutely, because you'll get comfortable and never want to leave, but then there's so much more out there and there's so much more to explore and look around. But
I judge people's cars. I judge people's cars because I'm a car guy. I like to work on cars, so I guess that way, yeah, car shows and stuff like that. I used to be a big hypocrite. I'm not so much anymore.
I feel like I'm very much an advocate for loving others and not judging people, but I tend to judge people myself. I don't always look at someone and think nice things about them, but I'm very much everyone should love each other.
Oh. You want to take that now?
Sure.
Step up to the mic. Step up to the mic.
Well, I was in the military for 25 years. I was always physically fit and active, and I preach that to the boys, but I don't live it now, but I still preach it to them, but, so I will still overeat and not do the right things and not work out, but I still try to get them to do it, because I know how it was when I was younger, and, it was very important then, and I've just lost that, so. Because I'm married to her, and it's all her fault. No. It's a motivational thing. I think, you get comfortable in life, when things are easier in life, you don't work as hard, and it just did not stick as a tenet as I became more successful, really. We have a very easy life, and it's, I've lost that, so partly because of her.
I mean, I can
I can speak to this one as well. So I grew up in a very religious house. My father was a pastor. And so there's a lot of things that I know are right, just from a moral standpoint, a way that I was taught to live a life. I guess I think of how I model for my children. I probably don't model it the same way it was modeled for me. A very righteous religious life was modeled for me. And so a lot of times I feel hypocritical because I don't do the same thing for my kids.
I did. Oh, that is actually, wait, that is a great one. I've noticed. So I'm through hiking the Appalachian Trail, which is very much like get rid of all the things and the materialistic stuff. I carry only the necessities on my back. I was a business major in school, and I got my master's degree in marketing. So I guess that's kind of hypocritical. I'm educated in getting people to buy stuff. So there's your answer.
I don't know if I really am. Yeah, I really don't believe that. No, I don't believe I am.
Oh, gosh. Whew. That's a deep question. I don't know. I'm a Christian, so I talk a lot about like loving and judging people, and I definitely fall into the trap of like not sometimes, and then I recognize that, and it's like, oh, you gotta stop doing that. Telling others to be fully loving and embracing, and then not doing that myself to people that bother me.
I think for certain things, I feel like people are so quick to like judge other people for everything, and I feel like it's easy for me to look at them and say like, you know, like why would you do that? Like it's not the right thing to do. Like you shouldn't have hate in your heart. But I feel like we're all at fault at some points, and I'm guilty of doing that every day. But it's easier to like call people out for their mistakes, and when you realize like we all have mistakes, we all do it ourselves.
I think that I'm almost a hypocrite in like, I think that's like one of my biggest problems, honestly, because like I feel like I tend to, in my own head, not usually outwardly, but will be like, oh, why is somebody not doing this for me? Or why is not, I have so much care for this person and they're not really, in my mind, showing the same or reciprocating in the same ways. But I think by judging people in that way and not really thinking past the just face value of what they're providing me is being hypocritical, because if I was really caring about these people, then I would think, oh, this is what they're providing me, and I just want to help them with all the things that I could do to help them, not just for what I can gain, but for what, you know, I can provide. Yeah, unconditional, it doesn't matter what they give me, but or what they can do for me, but what I can do for them instead.
Oh, gosh. Let's hit it with this answer. Oh, I'm not a hypocrite at all. Meaning I am like a huge hypocrite in a ton of different ways. Really like everything. A ton of things like annoy me and I get annoyed about it, but like then I go and do those things. Like very small things, like chewing gum loud, but I chew gum loud. Yeah, just stuff like that all around. Yeah, just a ton of small things really.
I like to give advice, but then not listen to my own advice in the same areas that I'm giving it. One is that if like my little sister comes to me with boy problems, I'll give her advice that she doesn't need a significant other, that she can be independent and be happy. But then some days I feel like I need that significant other and I'm not listening to my own advice that I can be happy on my own.
I don't know. I mean, like, every day we're all hypocrites, right? So I would assume it would just be just living daily life. Like, sometimes you make decisions that aren't necessarily in line with your specific beliefs, but you make them anyway. Because you either are doing it for cost efficiencies or you're doing it for time reasons or whatever. So, you know, like, it's just different reasons why you would make decisions. Because we're humans.
You know, I really try not to be a hypocrite. I think there can be times when, I don't know, I really work hard at not being a hypocrite, but I guess I'm sure there are things I have done in terms of like my management style. If I'm taking my family camping and I tell my family not to do something and then I go do it, but I do make an effort not to because I just can't stand hypocrites. I mean, my wife might be able to answer that better than me, but I'm a teacher, and so I've got a lot of students, so I feel like I'm in this position of being a role model, so I just really work on not being someone I don't want to be, and a hypocrite is on those lists of people that I don't want to be, so I'm kind of always thinking about that, so I'm sure there are, but I can't think of them offhand.
Oh,
Probably a lot of ways, more than I can really even think right now on the top of my head, but definitely with indulgence. I might tell people close to me, they need to watch their consumption of any sort of indulgence, and I'm myself can't always control myself either, so I guess that's how it could be hypocritical, especially if I'm getting upset and then I go and do it myself, so without being too descriptive of anything.
Well, I guess it's kind of like I've already said, I like being able to do what I want to do, but at the same time, I don't like breaking out of barriers. I want to, and I think that everyone should, but I have a hard time doing that myself. Probably, and high expectations from the people around me. I've had a lot of pressure put on me since I was very young, so kind of fitting into a mold and being what everybody expects me to be.
I don't know, maybe with organization in my life. My work life is very organized, but my personal life is chaotic. I live in, we call it a tornado in my room. And I often tell people oh, your room is messy or something, but mine is too. So that's where I'm a hypocrite.